We should tell. So we're going to do two, and of course about Baba and that. But one is about my grandmother traveling with Mas and bringing him to Baba under Baba's instruction. And second, on that day, a couple of days ago on 9th, people wanted to know the story of my father, that Kumar, who was in British prison and how he got out and all. So Dara volunteered to tell that story, right?
Yes, because invariably, if you tell it, we get into an argument, so
Yeah, I want to.
I do it better.
Yes, yes. So you tell.
The story of your dad.
Yes.
I start?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
All right. So this is the story of how Kumar came to Baba. Now, Kumar was a freedom fighter, and he joined a party that went about disrupting law and order while the British were here.
Not here, in India.
In India, sorry. Here in India, I'm not forgot where I am.
He was part of the,
We'll take that as a compliment, Dara.
basically he was part of the Leave campaign, right?
Quit India, to quit India, yeah. So, but of course he didn't like Gandhi's passive way, although initially he did go and join Gandhi's. Sorry. But then he said, no, this is not going to work. So then he joined a party that went about disrupting, anyway. Then of course, he was arrested along with his other party members and imprisoned. So he had 2 stints of imprisonment, each lasted about 5 years. Now, the last time when he was put in prison, he said that as a political prisoner, he was treated well. And he said that he had his colleagues there with him, and they used to manage to spend good time together. But then gradually he noticed that his colleagues were mysteriously disappearing. So he said that for the first time in his life, he feared for his safety. Up till then, he said, he was pretty unconcerned as to what might happen to him, but some change took place in him, and he began to become afraid. So he said, now, there's no way that I can get any help from outside to get free, so he decided the only course is to ask God's help. Now, he was pretty much an atheist, even though his mother was very much into religion. She, in fact, was a priestess. So he said that he didn't even know how to address God. So of course he says that he addresses God as Mr. God. So yeah, he said that of course in his cell he knelt down and he looked upwards. There was just a ventilator to let the light in, and he looked towards heaven and said, Mr. God, if you release me from this binding, I will, sorry, now I need your help.
Yeah, he said, Mr. God, if you exist, help me, get me a release. And for this binding, I'll take whatever binding. It's like giving him promising and things like that. Wait, right? Yeah.
So then he said that, well, what if this happens by chance? That,
How would I know this is
how would you know that it's God's doing? Yeah, then I get released. So then he said he put a condition and said that I will only know that it's your hand in getting my release if I get out of prison tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. Knowing fully well that the warden who comes to the prison, and he would be the one to sign his release papers, doesn't get there till 10, 11 in the morning.
Good bargain.
Of course, the time had come, so next morning, bright and early, the prison guard comes and says, gather your belongings, your release papers have come. So he says he marched into the office. The warden is there to sign his papers, gives him a few rupees for his fare from the prison to the closest railway station, and then he says the warden locked up his office and went back home. Anyway, so Kumar, of course, is now free, and he goes back, goes to the railway station, catches the next train back to his home, which was in Dehradun. Now, and when he gets home, then of course he has to find something to do now, since he felt that no sense pursuing my political activities, because I'll again be caught and put in prison. So he had settled in Dehradun, on the outskirts of Dehradun, on a farm, and had taken to farming. While in his absence, his family, his mother, in between the two prison terms, he had even got married. So his wife, his mother, they started farming. So then he also joined them. Anyway, one day, while he's sitting in the courtyard of his farmhouse, and in those days there was hardly any other homes around, so his was pretty much the first farmhouse on this particular path. He noticed that there's a horse cart coming towards where he is, and the horse cart's tanga, it's called, stops, and three well-dressed gentlemen get out of the tanga and approach Kumar and ask if they know of any land here for sale with a little cottage on it. So Kumar said, well, just by chance, the property just across from my place is for sale. And they negotiated a price. Those people were in a great hurry to purchase this property, so they had already come prepared to buy it. So they negotiated a price, and Kumar then helped them with the legal papers. And then these people tell them that our elder brother is going to be coming and staying here. So would you help? Would you help us when he comes? But prior to him, another person will come and occupy that cottage. So could you please feed him and take care of him? That other person was Kekubat. Some of you would know him. So he was sent there ahead of Baba's arrival.
Tell how they landed up there. That's the main story.
Oh yes, okay. Yeah, actually you're doing a better job
No,
than
no,
me
no,
this
no.
time. I'm half asleep here.
Yeah, I know, he's just missing out so much. The straight line.
You didn't have those drugs, Dara.
Making a bit of a hash of the story. Yes, so Baba needed this particular, sorry, this needed a new life, correct.
That's fine, that's good.
The car is here, I think.
Hey, good. Saved by money and Morris.
Yeah, money and more.
Money and,
Yeah.
So we'll pause. Can you put it on pause?
A few, strongish.
Copy them.
Oh, let's leave it.
Yeah? Can you see us?
Yes.
So, once my father was out of the prison, promising that Mr. God, whom he never knew, that he will, will, for this imprisonment, he will take whatever imprisonment he gives, but release him, and if he's out in the early morning, he'll believe, yes, there is God. So he comes back home, starts his farming with his family, and even though, as Dara said earlier, that he was atheist, didn't really believe in God and all that, but now there was a little bit of search started. And the search was like he's in our village, there was, it's still there, as like a mini palace type of home, with huge gates and all that. And this is spiritual leader of some Hindu sect, head of Hindu sect was living there, who was really genuine person, very learned, educated, and my father befriended him. And so that was like a beginning of in his little bit of a spiritual path. So now when this horse car, this tanga comes with a couple of people, there were 3 people in that. It was Norshaman's father, Keki Narawala, Keki Desai from Delhi, and Kisan Singh from Dehradun. And Baba been to Dehradun many a time before, from 30s. This is new lifetime now, that Dara was talking about. Baba is coming the new lifetime. But, so Baba knew these people. Baba stayed in Dehradun before with his, different occasions. In fact, Dehradun is the place in the whole world where Baba is sitting more, of course not including Mehrabad, Mirzad and Pune, but like outside of these places. He went many a time to Dehradun from 30s. Anyway, so when these guys come, my father told us that there was something very special about these people, the way they talked, the way they wanted to. And when they asked for land, the land was available just right next to his place, and that place is still there next to our home, my family home in Dehradun, which is foothills of Himalayas. So, how these people ended up there, Baba wanted to come back again in new lifetime, and he was going to stay for a longer time in Dehradun. And Baba had asked, said, no, I don't want to stay in city, he should be away from the city, he should be this, that, other, gave them all types of instructions, these followers his from Dehradun. But they couldn't find the place, the type of place Baba wanted. So, in the end, after this, there were lots of correspondence was there. In the end, Baba sent a letter or telegram, whatever, giving them full instructions. He said, in the middle of Dehradun, as he been there before, he knows about Dehradun, there is a clock tower. From clock tower, go towards the southeast or southwest, whatever, 4 miles. And after going for 4 miles in that road, state road, turn half a mile inside, and there I want the place, and that was my father's house. So that's how these people ended up there. Anyway, so father helped them and befriended these people, got the land, and then they started, there was a cottage, but cottage was you know, it was not
Ramshackle.
ramshackle or not. Father helped them to rebuild that house and all that. Then one day, but as Baba's order not to tell about his identity, they used to call him his elder brother those days, then a brother. So my father often heard from them even this word Baba, because how long they're not introducing Baba's name to anybody, they will say, but Baba would like this, Baba wouldn't like, but they, to my father they will say their elder brother. And then all of a sudden the message came that Baba won't be coming right now, but he will be sending this person called Kekoban, whom Baba said he could see Baba the way Baba is. I mean, you know, he could, the guy, you must have met Kekoban in Mehrabad. He used to live in Mehrabad, those Gulu and Jalu's father.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So Kekoban came there, my family was looking after Kekoban. But then one day the message comes that Baba is coming to the railway station. He won't be coming to this village right now where the cottage is built. He'll be going somewhere else. So one of these people, now my father is, you know, they're friends with them all. So they asked my father, Kumar, would you like to come and see you know. Now I think through Kekoban, my father came to know the full name Meher Baba. Kekoban told him about Meher Baba, but still didn't elaborate that who's Meher Baba is, his guru or avatar or whatever. But the way they were serving him, the way they were doing, you know, saying his name and compassion and love and wanted to do things to please Baba, my father realized he must be somebody very important. So when he was told that Baba is coming to the railway station and if Kumar, you would like to come and visit with him, you can come for a short while because he's going further towards the mountainside. He won't be coming now here. So my father said, yes, I'll go there. So when the train comes, my father goes to the railway station and but by the time he reached there, train must have already arrived and Baba was in waiting room with a couple of his other monthly members or visitors. My father said he stood in distance and looked at Baba. He didn't come closer, he was not even introduced to Baba. He just stood there and from that distance, he said, he felt this, looking at Meher Baba's, a feeling which he never had before. And he said, I don't care whoever he is, I would like to serve this person the rest of my life. He said, just this thought came in him without really knowing about Baba much. And he just stood and Baba right away gave him a chance that as soon as my father standing and thinking about serving this person the rest of his life without caring who he is, Baba talked to one of his monthly members and said, we are traveling further and we haven't eaten for a long time on this train journey. Has anybody arranged for a meal for us? And everybody started looking at each other's faces because nobody remembered to. Hi, Barbara. Hi, darling. Nobody even thought about. They were so excited about meeting Baba, and they knew Baba's not stopping going somewhere else. So nobody kind of thought about bringing some meal there or any food. Anyway, so Baba with a little disappointment looked at his close people who were standing near him. Can it be arranged? So my father, who's standing in distance, seeing all this going on and wishing that he could, he also like schoolboy raises his hand and he said, I'll bring the food. Just, like Baba's given him that chance to serve him immediately without knowing each other coming in. So Baba said to his close by people, who's this person? Baba, he's the Kumar about whom we've been writing to you, who's been helping us to buy this land and build this little cottage for you, and he's been very helpful. Baba said, call him. So Kumar was called in, and then they were introduced, and Baba said, but you don't stay here, you stay far away, 4 or 5 miles away from here, because Baba knew Baba. So Kumar said, yes, Baba, but I'll be able to bring the food, but we are here only for 1 hour. could you do that? And my father said, yes, I'll bring it within 1 hour. So he goes home and tells his wife, he said, what can we cook? So, and my family, they're farmers, they grow, and Dehradun is, you must have heard Dehradun basmati rice. And it's a very lush green place, they have vegetables and all. So my mother says, fastest things we can make vegetable rice like some sort of palau, vegetable and rice together, and cooks very fast. And so father, they said, okay, so both mother and father cook this fast meal. And my father tells us, he put it on his motorbike, and the servant boy said, and the rice kind of cooked its way, like it was a hot pot, and Anyway, he reached there in 1 hour time, and what he saw as soon as he reaches there, what he saw, that he was away for 1 hour, but when he came back, he saw that it's not even a second has changed. Baba is still standing near the dining table, his hand is in this position. He's talking to this person, and there's a woman standing with a baby on her lap and weeping. She must be trying to tell Baba some about her certain problem. Erich is still pulling this, like nothing had changed, not even a second. But my father just didn't say anything. He put the food on the table and started wondering what's going on, who's he? Anyway, he didn't tell anybody about this experience, this time experience to anybody. Now things start moving, they pulled out some paper plates, Baba passing plates to everyone, and Baba himself started serving food. To my father's horror, when he left, there were very few people. All of a sudden, as soon as food comes, there's more people from everywhere. And my father said, here I volunteered to serve him, but the food won't be enough. You want to go on from here?
I think you're doing a good job.
He'll be able to talk after tea maybe later on.
Yes.
So, so my father said, my God, I offered this service and now the food won't be enough, and how embarrassing.
He said that Baba himself was serving people and, heap load of food. And he said he started to get very nervous, saying, such a insult that I didn't bring enough food. But and then on top of everything, he said, Baba turns to me and says, what about your plate? So he said, no, Baba, I just had my lunch, it's okay. So Baba said, no, bring a plate. And he said, Baba also gave him a heap full of rice, and then they all ate it. And then to his horror, he said that Baba made the gesture for the ladies, which is bangles, Indian ladies, bangles. Take it to the other room. Then the 4 ladies that traveled with Baba in the New Life, Mera, Mani, Goer and Meru, were in another waiting room. This is all happening at the railway station. So, of course, the utensil is then taken by Eric, and he must have called out to Goer and handed her the utensil. And after a little while, when it finally came back, Baba told Kumar, thank you, now you take it back. So of course he said that he was expecting to see not even a grain of rice in that utensil, but again to his amazement, just a little divot of rice was missing from it. So again, this was something.
These little Baba said doesn't do miracles, but things like there are many stories like that from different people. Things like that used to happen.
Anyway, at this juncture, Baba was not going to be staying, as Amrit said, in that on that land next to hers, because that cottage needed to be repaired, and also they needed to build a separate little
Cottage bungalow for the men
whatever,
Monday.
it was more like a barracks for the men Monday to stay. So while all this work was being done, Baba was housed in towns, close to where, what's his name? Noshiwan's family home is. They'd arranged for a place. So Baba then asked Kumar, is it possible for you also to bring food for us there? And of course Kumar was very happy that he was given this opportunity. And he was told that when you bring the food, make sure you bring a separate little utensil of this rice that you just brought, but that's for Baba. And
Baba liked his rice more softer than the rest of the mandi, and a little soggy because of maybe easy to digest or as he didn't have teeth. Yeah.
So Kumar started to take this every day for Baba and the mandi where they were staying. Now this was lasted about 7-8 days. Now one of the times her mother forgot to add the little utensil of rice which is for Baba. And when Kumar goes to deliver the rice, he's very upset that his wife had forgotten Baba.
The Naja came and says maybe Baba has sent for Naja too, because as they didn't have anybody to help cooking. So Naja said, where's Baba's rice? And then they realized that Subhadra, my mother, has forgotten to send the rice. Yeah.
So of course when Kumar goes home, he's very upset and he tells his wife, how is that you've forgotten the rice? So she sort of tries to defend herself and said, well, I forgot.
Big deal, so what?
There's plenty of rice.
Yeah. There was enough rice there to, for the rest. So her father gets angry with her, and I think the first time in his life he slaps her.
Because then his love and this thing for Baba was becoming so strong that how dare she forget. It was the anger was that why she forgot, not only arguing.
Now, this is a game where we argue over this, but her father's story is probably correct. But of course, Baba gets to know this. Baba gets to hear that Kumar got angry with his wife and slapped her. So, you say Baba goes to the house?
No, what had happened, as soon as father came back home, Baba realized that Kumar left the place, Baba's place, with a little anger. So Baba sent one of his mandi to our house and to tell Kumar not to be angry with his wife. But it was too late. The anger was already there and he had slapped his wife like that. So this mandi member or whoever person Baba sent comes back and tells Baba that Baba, sorry, it was too late by the time. So, Dara says it happened later on, but what my mother was telling, my mother is still there, she's 93 and her memory is quite sharp and all that. She said Baba came, Baba to that, and stood in front of her with folded hands and asked for her forgiveness because of him. Your husband got angry too. Look at the beloved, he must have left all his work and whatever he was doing, he came to our house and stood in front of my mother. My mother said she felt like if she could just disappear or something could happen to her, but he stood in front of her and asked for her forgiveness. Because of him, her husband has, slapped her. And then looked at my father and said, never ever to do that again. Anyway, we were just off story, just tell about Kumar how he came to Baba. I mean, what happened, how Baba. Then, when my father was visiting Baba, and how Baba, okay, I'll tell you this. get.
It's called jet lag.
Yeah.
It's all time from cutting.
Yeah. So anyway, now Baba, family became friends, and Baba would come and to our family and things. And that's the time I was born, with the story I told you that time, and I got my name from Mehamani. Now when Baba came back, Baba knew lifetime is over. Baba is back in Pune and Satara and Mirazad. My father was invited many a times. They became friends, and father would take part in for whenever there's big Baba gatherings and things, volunteer to do things. So Baba would invite him regularly, and you must have seen him many films. He's holding umbrella. This man, smartly dressed with a hat and glasses, and always holding his umbrella. So often Baba would invite him, and what would happen? Father will come and stay with Baba, not knowing how long. And Baba would, after a few days later, now Kumar, go home. And then again, after 6 months or later, then years are passing by. And again, Kumar will be invited in to be with Baba, to travel with him to Andhra or other places for different occasions. And then again, he will be sent. So now the story goes in this time when Baba called him. My father knew that I'll go there within a week, Baba will send me back. So now every visit, he started taking his bag with the weekly supplies of his clothes and shaving and whatever you need. So this time, when he goes, a week passed by and Baba didn't say anything, and then the 2 weeks, and then a month, and 2 months, and 3 months. On top of that, now and then Baba would say, this order was for everyone, nobody should leave the compound without his permission. Nobody should write home to their families, and only survive with whatever you've been given by whoever was it. I think Pendu used to be in charge, or Kakaparia, and whatever, and always lack of funds and things like that. So things weren't so easily available, like soaps and things like that. Anyway, so months started passing by, and Baba never told him to go, and my father was happy. And not even write to your family or anything, it was for everyone, this order. So my father couldn't write, he was obeying Baba's office. But Baba made sure that Kumar's family is being looked after, because without my father's knowing, he sent telegrams to the other people that make sure Kumar's family is all well. So here Kumar is there, and like that 9 months passed by, where it used to be 1 week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And one day after 9 months, Baba was going, Baba used to often go out. So one day Baba said, Kumar, would you like to come with us? So my father was very excited, yes, he wanted to get out. And while all this, as the time was passing by, he noticed this compound, and there was barbed wire, the gate is closed. He's not been asked to leave without, Baba never said leave the gate. They were given hardly any reading stuff to read. His beard is growing because there is not enough material to shave and bathe properly, and his clothes, nobody offered him new clothes or any, so he would wash and wear same things. And so a thought came in his mind, is he the one who's completing my imprisonment? That there was like that in his mind, which he had asked for, he said, for that binding, when he was there, any other binding. So just thought would come in his mind, because he saw that how the people were with Baba, they were worshipping him, they were, like he was their God. So he's the one? He's God? Anyway, he never said to anybody anything. And then when Baba asked him after 9 months later to go out, so he said he was very happy to go out. So when they are traveling, Baba was sitting in the car, it was car or van, I don't know, and he grabbed my father's hand. Can I grab my husband's hand? He grabbed my father's hand like that, like this way. Like when you're shaking your hand that way. And said, Kumar, I heard that you were a freedom fighter and you were in British prison for many a times, and and but you never told us how you got out. So my father, and that Baba is holding his hand, and my father repeated the story, and he said, then I talked to God, and I didn't even know how to address him, so I called him Mr. God. And then I promised him, he said, if I'm out of the prison tomorrow morning before such and such time, I'll be a slave, I'll do whatever binding or whatever imprisonment you give me, I'll take that. So Baba, while holding hand, it's like a promising way, and asked him to repeat it again 3 times. So my father repeated that line again 3 times. Then Baba, and my father said he's holding hand and he's shaking, he didn't, So Baba looked at him and said, I'm that Mr. God who helped you to be out of the prison. So my father couldn't say anything, he didn't say anything, but didn't you know that I'm the one? You've been with me, didn't you know that I'm the one who released you from prison? So my father said, Baba, I don't know, but the way you're holding my hand right now, and the way you're looking at me and telling me that I'm that Mr. God, I've been having lately this dream, but it's not you, Baba, it's a younger person. It's like a man, and sitting up and grabbing my hand like that, the way you grab me, and exactly the way you're telling me that I'm your Mr. God. That's what he used to tell me. He didn't say that he felt that he was in prison being with Baba. So Baba said, oh, is that so? Like that habit of his holding chin. And then he said to later, Arish, do you have some old photographs, Chotu Kumar? So it was that Baba Jan had kissed him, and after he was in that mustache, and he was in that pumpkin house, Pune, hiding in the attic there, and he couldn't eat, and that's what the person used to come. Now Baba is old man, used to happen much later in 50s. So then he realized that he is with his Mr. God, and he remained with his Mr. God till he left his physical form and became one with became one with Baba, or so that was his story how he came to Baba.
What year did you pass out?
85.
85.
Yeah.
Good age then you must have been.
73. He was much younger than Baba. And, he was a young man at the time when he first came. So that's his story.
It's a beautiful story. Amazing.
Yeah. So that was your story. Now you tell my story.
No, but the Baba, whenever Baba, especially in Andhra, when Baba would go there on these on these visits to Andhra, and of course there would be all these hundreds, thousands of people who when Baba would give public darshan, and they would be very, what shall I say, aggressive in their love for Baba. They want to just, go up to Baba and embrace him. Sometimes
Grab his feet.
Sometimes they would even lift Baba. So when Baba heard that Kumar was quite a strong, ferocious personality, he used him, to sort of be like his bodyguard. Yeah, he and some of the other Mandi. So of course he would always call Kumar whenever Baba would go on these Andhra tours to accompany him. And in fact he got the nickname as his Commander in General.
Commander in Chief.